And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, November 30th, 2013. This is Season 7, Episode 42. I'm Scott.
I'm Matt.
And I'm RJ.
And welcome to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. You can find us on Twitter at In-Game Chat as well as on Facebook. You can email us, everyone at ingamechat.net. And we are streaming the cam feed right now through Twitch. And you can find us there as well as join the chat room live while we broadcast. So good evening, folks. I will say it is amazing what a football game will do to the traffic in a town such as ours. Actually a state, really. But boy, it was empty coming in today.
I think I saw tumbleweeds.
It was nice. Just driving in was actually really nice compared to most of the Saturdays that I'm rolling into the studio here. But anyway, we're broadcasting on Twitch TV right now, and thank goodness for Black Friday for some people. I know other people hate it, but I grabbed a new laptop, so we're no longer streaming from my Mac is no longer doing the heavy lifting here. We should have some great looking audio or some great looking video, and hopefully some great sound and audio.
Well, we got some in the chat room says still a little bit.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. We're working on it as we go. So It's one of the only ways that you can test this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can test it on my own stream, but until our voices actually come out through the air,
there's no way to tell until you actually do it.
It's very difficult to test it. So anyway, hopefully everything is going to be good and is going to sound better and look better, and we'll see. Otherwise, I'm taking this machine back, which is another great thing about the holidays. I can do that. I've got until next year to take that back if it doesn't work out. So anyway, welcome to the show. Let's start off with Matt, who has now had some time. I don't think you had hooked up your PS4 the last time we were here. You were getting
Not
ready
yet.
to do that. And I believe you hooked it up, and as far as I know, you've unhooked it because you're behind in some games. You're behind in Grand Theft Auto 5, and you're behind in Beyond Two Souls if you were going to be planning on playing that.
I do plan on playing Beyond Two Souls. I haven't picked it up yet, so it's one of those things that right now I've been actually going through playing GTA 5 and enjoying that one. Although I did hook up my PS4, I updated it and everything. I even hooked up my Vita to it, and I was checking out the second screen.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing Resogun on my Vita, which that was kind of fun, and like the sounds coming out of it, and so that was kind of cool. Played a little bit more of Need for Speed, and also got Assassin's Creed 4. So.
Good. I've been playing. How far into Assassin's Creed 4 are you?
I got off of the first little island that you're at, the little tutorial island.
Have you finished Memory 1?
Yeah, I was in playing as the guy in the fake Ubisoft place.
Spoilers, man! Spoilers, man!
Oh.
Spoilers, man!
I figured the game was old enough.
I didn't even know that part was in there until I
started.
started playing it just last week, I guess.
Hey, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Spoilers. Oh,
I didn't even know.
like
I didn't know how they were going to do the modern sections. I
Yeah.
didn't know how it was going to tie in, and the way that they've done it is very interesting.
just the very beginning part.
Yeah, before we go any further, I want to remind everybody that later on in the show, during the second hour of In-Game Chat, we're going to have Evan Hahn on the show with us. He is the co-founder and senior software engineer from Snowden Studios. These are the guys who are making a game called WindForge. And if you're curious what WindForge is, you're going to be even more curious after you watch the trailer. Head over to Kickstarter, search for WindForge, and there is a trailer to tell you what it's about. Well, there's a trailer to sort of tell you what it's about. It shows you things, but you'll just have to figure out what it's about. It's interesting. Think of airships and flying whales, and they said it's the Kickstarter actually says it is Contra meets Minecraft, which is an interesting combination.
Definitely.
Actually, one of the guys on Colony of Gamers works for Snowden Studios. I met him. I was at PAX, and it was the last day of PAX, and I was walking through the floor, sticking mostly towards the indie side of things because there was a lot of good stuff there. And I came around, and this guy said, "Hey, do you want to see our game?" I always love it when somebody pulls me out and doesn't just wait for me to walk up. Because chances are, if I see everybody at your kiosk playing, I'll probably say, well, I'll come back later and play that. But
When they come and grab you.
Yeah, he pulled me out. He's like, "Hey, do you want to see our game?" And I was like, "Sure. This is always a good thing. I love it when people do this." So he pulled me aside, and I got to sit down. I didn't get to play it, or did I? I can't remember if I got to watch somebody play it or what it might have been. But anyway, I got to get a little info about it and that sort of thing. And I said, "Hey, here's my card," and he took it and he's like, "You're Scott, right?"
On my better days.
And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's on my card." He's like, "Yeah, but you're Psycho Boy on COG." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am. How do you?" And he began to explain who he was and that sort of thing. It's like, why haven't you told me? Why haven't you said anything about this to me at all? I do. We do this show every week. I mean, and I can post news stories to the site. I can talk about it on the show. Why haven't you said anything? He apparently is really shy about it and really just kind of low key on the whole thing. So I said, "You've got look. If you're not ready to talk about it yet, that's fine. But when you are, you need to make a thread about it on COG, get people to know about it. Seriously, we can give you all the support a ton of support we can give you." And so he finally did that and got in touch with me and said, "Hey, let's do this interview." And I was like, I'd been waiting for that. So it was
PAX was a while back ago.
PAX was a while back ago. They didn't start their Kickstarter until almost a month ago. And it was a little hard to do leading into the new consoles coming up. I couldn't get the interview when we wanted it, so doing it this weekend was the best time to get it in. And the Kickstarter still has some days left, so hopefully they'll get some support for the Kickstarter. So anyway, that's what's coming up later on. Let's jump back, as we so often do, scatterbrained with this, into Assassin's Creed 4. I am now just beginning the fourth memory thing, whatever, stage 4. I don't know how they classify these things. But they're in memory chunks. Have you ever played an Assassin's Creed game, RJ?
I think Jeremy let me borrow the first one. I got a little bit of that, but I haven't played any of them except the first one. I haven't played any of the sequels. And after James was talking about 3, I kind of stayed away from that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. See, this, and here's the problem. 3 left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I know. I think
everyone here.
James is one of them. I wasn't, floored by it or anything else. It was kind of fun to get back and doing that stuff. And then, the more that we talked about it, the more I realized, okay, no, you're right. It really wasn't that great. But it left a bad taste in your mouth. And now it's, now they've got 4, and I'm a little conflicted because I really like 4, but am I liking it like I like 3? Is it going to turn out to be this thing that is not good? I don't know. I will say that it starts a little slow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too thrilled with how it started. A little bit confused, but the third chapter, the entire third chapter, was just splendid, just wonderful. The way that they walked you through. This is how your ship works. This is how you use your ship. This is how you collect things from other ships. This is how you, pillage and plunder.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you become a pirate. And these are the way the game mechanics work. That was like the first part of 3, and then like the second part of 3 starts building this crescendo to a climax at the end of it, when you make your first assassination. And if you remember, we made tons of assassinations, but this is your first like legitimate assassination, because when you kill the guy, the screen goes down and it's just you and the guy talking to each other again, just like his old assassinations and stuff like that. But I felt the freedom that I had in Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed 1 to kind of take on this assassination as I wanted to.
I still think 1 to me had the best way of like the assassinations in them.
Mm-hmm.
1 was my favorite. You feel like, all right, how do I attack this? How do I go about this? And then how do I escape?
Right, and there is a little bit of that in the missions leading up to it, because in the missions leading up to it, it's telling you the story of how you're going to get to this guy, where he's going to be. It's all about trying to track this guy down. And you go from one person to the next person to the next person, just kind of tailing and listening to them and finding out more information, and that sends you to another person that you got to go find, and that sends you to another person up until you're stalking this guy in your pirate ship on the ocean to wherever he docks, and then you get to that point where it's like, he's over here, go make your way to there. And if you play it as an assassin, which is exactly the way I did, because they've really refined how you can be stealthy in this. The way you can hide in bushes and in tall grass and stuff like that. Really, I don't know, the level design of it made it very, I say easy, but I don't want to diminish it by saying that it made it feel easy. Made it feel natural.
I think that's the best.
Maybe that's a better way to put it. It made it feel natural. And I made my way around this huge, literally, you could go any way you want to, and you could have gone in there guns blazing and just did your thing. You could have. And for the most part, you can do that in any Assassin's Creed game after 2, where you're pretty much just a killing machine. You know, you're almost invincible for the most part. And you could do that, but if you really want to play it stealthy, they've got it set up to where it's so rewarding when it's done right. Like, one of the secondary objectives was to kill this guy with an air assassination. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? Well, he's on a ship, so I can get up into the masts. And if I can stay undetected, which I did, I'm just sitting there biding my time, and then there he comes around, and I do it. It just felt so good. It felt really good to do that. And everything else about the game just feels really good. The ships are so much better than they were in AC3.
Yeah, the controls of them.
The controls and everything, so much better than they were in Assassin's Creed 3. So, which they should be, since it seems like you're going to spend a lot of your time on them. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think James is interested in it, and I'm hoping that he'll give it a shot. I think he is. I think he's keeping his PS4.
Okay.
He had mentioned to me over the holiday here. He said, I may break out the PS4. I was like, you decided to keep it, huh? He said, yeah. However, as far as I can tell, he hasn't set up his PS4.
Is he a PS Plus member?
He used to be. He was at one time for about a year. I don't think he's re-upped.
Okay.
But he's got that 30-day card.
True. That'll at least give him, Resogun as well.
Yeah.
And Contrast.
Yes, it will, and he will more than likely re-up for it.
Yeah.
But if he decides to keep it, now he had said he would keep it, so we'll see. He may be calling in actually a little bit later. He's of course got work commitments, and these work commitments are going to have him going all through the month of December, and so we'll do our best to work our way to get him in here somehow. Be pre-recorded conversations, or just calling in the show. He can do that. But anyway, so you've played Assassin's Creed 4. You've only done the very first mission.
Yeah, and got out into the real world, and I don't think I've gotten back into... No, actually, no, I did get back into, I think, what you start off in Havana, and you're walking around just a little bit, and... you end up in Havana. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the game... you start on some...
deserted place,
I can't remember what it's called, some other island that is not Havana and is not Nassau.
Yeah.
And then you end up in Havana, and that's how Memory 1, I believe, ends. So
I'm in Havana right now.
Did you put in Need for Speed Rivals?
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
I like it. It's pretty.
Yeah, it is. It is. Did you get the camera?
Yes.
Okay, so you've gone through that, and you've done your voice controls.
I've worked with a little bit with the voice controls, hey, PlayStation, do this, and it'll do it. And I'm like, hey, that's fun. But, I have the camera, I haven't really worked with Need for Speed with is there voice controls in the game? Oh, yeah, there is, isn't there? Like
Need for Speed?
Yeah.
I am not sure about that. I want to say there may be, because I thought I heard somebody giving voice controls, but it could have been just them playing
just talking
with their
out
game.
And
Yeah. Calgar asked, has anyone attempted using the companion app with this game or with others? If I haven't followed the chat room here, so I don't know if you're talking about the Assassin's Creed Black Flag companion app, but if you are, that's fantastic.
I haven't.
It's great.
How much is the companion app?
That's free.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they've got it for Android or any of those others, but I know it's for iPad.
Okay.
And not for iPhone, but I know it's for iPad. It's exactly what a companion app should be, and it's especially good for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's just wonderful. I cannot praise it enough because of it gives you an immense amount of statistics if you're into that stuff. What I personally love about it is that all the hidden documents I find, all the reading material that I find, this includes every time you come up on a landmark, and they talk about the landmark and they give this huge rundown. All of that, all the documents, all the hidden messages, all the treasure maps, everything is in that app
Okay,
that
so
you've found so far. Once you connect it to your account, you can read them from that app. You can look at your treasure map from that app. You can.
oh, that way you could you don't have to pull up the treasure map and pause the game. You could just like glance down at your app and oh, that's
You can easily do that. Yeah. If you want to look at the treasure map, you don't have to switch your weapons and stuff like that to use it. But it just is so good. Now, even better is that one of the things that I found later on was one of these hidden things had a video accompanied to it in the game. It's kind of like, you remember when you used to find the fragments?
the apple fragments?
Yeah, you used to find the apple fragments, and it had that like 16-second clip or whatever of Adam and Eve or whoever it was, the ones that came before type stuff.
I kind of miss those.
Well, I'm not saying it's those. I'm just saying
but like that idea.
that's a video clip.
Yeah.
These video clips are longer, but you can look at them from the app.
Oh, wow.
After you found them, you can go back and watch them. Audio clips that play, you can watch them or listen to them from the app.
I'll definitely have to pick that up.
It is fantastic. It's everything in a companion app should be, and they did a fantastic job with it. So it is wonderful. But yeah, so
I will have to say, playing this kind of makes me wish there was an actual pirate game instead of it being an Assassin's Creed. Although, I mean, I'm enjoying the Assassin's Creedness, but like just having a pirate game that doesn't have to get out of it and go into memories and stuff like that, and just be like an open world piratey thing.
an open world piratey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
because there still is some. I mean, there's some, I think, holdouts from earlier Assassin's Creed. Like you still have to do like some hunting or snaring of the animals, and the way that sometimes with the controls can be a little wonky when you're trying to like do the fast run really quick, go up a ladder or a pole, and he just sort of just hops around. And
well, I mean, I'm playing it on PC, and I've had a few issues with I've had a few bugs pop up.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily those, because I think those are almost a given for every Assassin's Creed game. When I'm about to jump straight, and then he decides to jump right.
Yeah, and you're like,
or
no,
left,
I didn't want to. Yeah,
or some stupid direction that you did not ever have the control button pressed to go in that way.
Yeah.
You ever die that way?
I've never died that way, but I have because
Taking health off.
because I've been going in a stealthy position. It's like there's bad dudes under me, and so as soon as he does the jump, and it's like, well, there goes my stealth.
Yeah.
Or there goes my completion bonus of don't get into combat or something like that, because here it is. And sometimes I'll restart, and then sometimes I'm like, you know what, I don't care. Because again, it goes back to that feeling of they can't do anything to me. I mean, there's a few, if you play it right, you're fine. You're never going to be in a position where you'll die. The worst parts that I've had is yes, I've fallen off a mast because, again, I went for a jump and he went the opposite direction, and there was nothing for him to land on, or he just fell right down to the bottom of the boat and died. So I'll die from those, or from the ones where you let your target get away from you out of range, something like that, stupid things, but never die out of combat. I've never died from combat, because he's it's like Batman almost. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's almost invincible. If you play him right, you're not going to get hurt. So, but anyway, so I was saying that the bugs that I've had in the PC version, that last mission for 3 requires you to you dock on an island on one end, and your target's way on the other end. So there's 2 sections to it, and you have to first make your way through the jungle to get to the open harbor cove place where he's at. And so I made my way through the jungle, and the whole objective is reach the end of the jungle. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And the bonus thing is don't enter combat. That was actually pretty easy to do. Again, I love the way they've got this whole
The stealth
situation
is a lot
set up.
easier in this, it seems.
Well, also when you use the eagle vision to highlight your characters, they highlight through objects. In other words, once you've got them targeted, and it can target up to 10 guys at a time. Once you've got them targeted, you can see their entire body through trees, through everything. Once you've got them targeted, you can see them through all that. And so it gives you a good awareness of where they are.
Is it like a detective mode in Batman?
Yes and no, because you can
sensory mode in Tomb Raider.
Maybe the sensory mode in Tomb Raider. I can't remember.
Like
the thing is, you can once you tag them in Eagle Vision, when you come out, those guys are still highlighted.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to stay in Eagle Vision the entire time.
All right.
Are they permanently highlighted, or does it go away after a little bit?
They are permanently highlighted until you get out of range.
Okay.
Once you're out of range, they'll go away. Or once you've started highlighting more than 10, it starts unhighlighting the guys that you've previously highlighted. So it just,
I think I must have gone out of range because like I had some people highlighted and moving around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean once you're through that area, it doesn't matter. You will have to re-highlight if you go back, that sort of thing. But anyway, the bug I was talking about was I go through the jungle section, and I get to the clearing, and I can easily tell that I'm in some new objective that I need to do. There's the big ship. There's this big little area here. There is no way that the jungle is done. I'm out of the jungle, but it still says reach the end of the jungle. I'm like, what is going on? So I go through this entire thing. And I'm thinking, well, once I get to the boat, it'll definitely switch over, and it doesn't switch over. And I'm like, well, let me go up. I mean, I explored that entire area before I said, well, let me restart. So I restarted at my checkpoint, which puts me at the opening of the jungle, and it still doesn't do anything. I'm thinking, something feels off. So I go to YouTube and I look up a mission thing, and sure enough, it's supposed to switch once I reach the end of that jungle area to say, your target is here, go kill him. Mm-hmm. And it never did that. So I had to restart the entire mission over with. Mm-hmm. Wasn't difficult. It was time consuming because stealth requires patience and waiting. So it was time consuming, but eventually it corrected itself. So, there can be bugs here and there for the game on PC. Now I don't know about guys playing it on PS4. I don't know about anybody playing it on consoles. What kind of bugs they may be experiencing, but that's what I've experienced so far on PC. So let's see. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have more of in-game chat. I will tell you about my Xbox One. Got an update on what's going on with that. Anyway, we'll have more in-game chat. We will be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. And it's the second half of the first hour. I don't know. Nice seg. Welcome back to the show. Was going to talk to you about my Xbox situation. When last we left off, I don't think the sound's up here anymore, but it was making a horrible noise when you put a physical disc into the system. Common thing.
Terrible noise.
Yes, we called it the death rattle.
The death rattle is what it was coined in the chat room. And so, I looked up, I said, well, the end of last show, I said that I'm going to contact support. I'd already gotten in touch with support. We'd already worked out how things were going to go. Apparently what I was understood to being, and I've got this conversation saved. If I ever need to throw it out there, but I've got the conversation saved with me and support where I asked them, I hear that you guys, and I'd pull this up quickly if I could, but I hear that you guys are doing a method where you send a console to people who are having this problem, and you get it out to them in like 3 or 4 days, and then they send you their broken one back, but that way they've got one they can play. They said, yeah, that's our advanced exchange program. Would you like us to do that? And I said, yes. That's it. She said, okay, this is great. We'll do that. She confirmed, my address and everything else. I had it.
They know.
Yeah, I was like, could you ship it to this other place since I'm going to be out of town for the holidays, and I'd like to have it for that so I can play it, over the long weekend. And they said, sure, give me the address. I gave them the address, and they got everything that they needed for that. And I thought, okay, this is great. And they said, you'll be getting a FedEx shipment thing and all this other stuff. And I said, all right, cool. I got that in the mail, and in fact, I brought it up here so I could use the printer, so I could print out the shipping label and everything else that I needed. And I thought, we're well on our way. I went home that night and started editing the video to post on YouTube for the show. And while it was doing its processing, I decided to hit up Xbox support chat again because I'm very OCD and paranoid about these things. Mm-hmm. I'm very let me make sure that this is the case. So I hit him up on chat again, got somebody else. I said, here's my reference number from the last conversation I had. They looked at it, and I said, I'm doing the advanced exchange, right? Said, yeah, you are. I said, all right. I did not save this conversation. Because it just seemed, I was like, okay, this confirms everything that I had in the last one. So I didn't save it. I said, this is great. Will I get a tracking number? Will I get some kind of message when they ship out? And said, yep, they will email you a tracking number when they ship it out. I was like, all right.
Oh, good.
Cool. That's great. That was Saturday night, late Saturday night. Sunday, I didn't do anything about it. I monitored my email, and I was like, nothing's going to ship on a Sunday. So I was like, it's not going to come. So Monday morning, I come into work at the really early time that I do. At 9 o'clock, I get a break where I can sit down. And I actually called, or had them call me, Microsoft support. And they called me. And we go through this conversation. I said, yeah, I'm just trying to confirm. I really don't know what to do. I haven't gotten any tracking number. I haven't heard anything. I'm supposed to be doing the advanced exchange. I said, no, we've got you down for standard exchange. I was like, oh, what's that? Well, that's where you send in your box, and then they'll try and repair it, and if they can't, they'll send you a new machine. I said, oh, I thought I was on the advanced exchange. They're like, no, advanced exchange, we can do that, but it requires us to put a hold of $530 on your credit card.
Oh.
I said, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing, any other month, any other time in the month, I could have done that. Had I not just dumped a bunch of money on a PS4, dumped a bunch of money on an Xbox One, and then this was Monday. Banks close on Thursday. It's not a lot going to be getting done for Thursday and Friday and everything else. My paycheck from work wasn't going to come in until Friday, or at least get into my account until Friday. I was like, I can't have you hold on to that much money. It'll by the end of Thursday, I'll be out, with that much taken out of my account. So I can't have you holding on to that much money. Let's just do the standard. Let's do the standard exchange. Okay, I was a little upset.
Yeah, because you want to get it as soon as possible.
Well, I mean, if Saturday they had told me about the standard exchange that I had to send this all in, I would have printed the label just like I did. Would have gotten a box after the show. Would have done everything I needed to do so that Sunday I could either run out, or Monday, as soon as I had a chance, run over to the FedEx and drop it off and get it in the thing. I said, well, this is great. So I said, well, now with this all switched, I'm going to call them back when I get off work and figure out, what now, what do I need to do?
On the conversation, the first one that you recorded, did they say advanced exchange on that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't record it. I have it saved.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. Too bad you couldn't have been like, look at here.
Well, they've got my reference number.
Yeah.
They've got my reference number to I assume, I don't know how customer service works, but I assume to look at all that stuff that has been said to me, to go over it. It's a lot for them to look through, but I can go through it real quick and be like, no, it's down here right before the end. Boom, right there. See it? They said, you want to do this? I said, yeah. They said, okay. But I could not do the hold on the account. I was really I was upset. I wasn't upset about them holding the money. I was just upset that I had been told twice that I was doing advance exchange, but that was not the case.
Yeah. When did they mention the hold? They mentioned it the second time you called, or the first time you
mentioned what? The money?
The money, yeah.
The third time.
The first, okay. They only
first time
I
called, but the third time I'd gotten in touch with them.
And that was when you're here at work.
Yeah, the first two times I had done it was over the chat. Was over online chat with customer support.
Right.
It was the quickest way to get in touch with them, honestly.
Yeah, Yeah, maybe they changed their policy between those calls.
Right. No. Well, see, I had read online, and I even posted about this on COG, where there was a number of different outlets reporting that, hey, Microsoft is taking care of these people with bad hard drives by doing their advanced exchange, where they send out a brand new console, and then the other people can send theirs back so that they won't be out without a machine to play with. What all of those fail to mention is that if you do a $500 hold on your account, a lot of people have said that, that's a given. And no company's just going to send you a machine, without, that's too big of a risk for them to do. They're just not going to do that. I would agree with you if, Amazon hasn't done it before with me. But what Amazon has done is they've just like, well, we've got your credit card.
Same with Microsoft. They have your card.
If you screw anything up, we'll just charge you.
Yeah.
But Microsoft wants to put a hold on that account, though they would hold it until they received my Xbox. So in other words, they would hold the $530 on my card, send out a new machine. I'd have that machine, but they would not release those funds until they received my broken machine. So it wasn't going to be a quick thing. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a while before any of that happened. And I kind of agree with you that, yeah, okay, this is something that I should have expected, that not just to get a free console out of it. But again, if they have my credit card, they could just pull the money out of there if after ever how many days or some stupid stuff like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But again, it wasn't the hold on the account that upset me. It was the fact that I'd been told twice already by customer support
that it's going to be one way.
That it was going to be the way it was going to be, and then it's actually not that way. So anyway, I come home and I call support again. Again, this was very fast, and they're very easy to work with. When they're telling you the right information, they're very easy to work with. But they called me back and said, "Hey, apparently I'm doing a standard exchange on my system, and that's fine, but the address that you've got it to is kind of wonky. I've only noticed that now since I've looked at it enough. The street address, the city, and the state were all jumbled together. Like the street address ended at what was it? Like the abbreviation ST, and then the city was MOTALABMA, all one word. I could obviously sort it out, but I've had FedEx. In fact, the Secret Santa that I did last year with Colony of Gamers, he had one thing wrong in the address, and FedEx was like, we can't send it there. Had to go to their pickup facility and show them proof and everything else and get it. I was like, well, I need to make sure this is right. And by the way, since it's not coming during the holidays, I'd like to have it reverted back to my address, please, which I know is causing them more confusion. So, end of this conversation. I was on the phone with them for 50 minutes. End of this conversation, my original service order for my standard exchange has been canceled because they could not change the address.
Oh, man.
So they said, we're just going to redo it. So they put the machine back in there. And they said, okay, you want to do a standard exchange? Yes, I have a broken Xbox. Well, you want to do a repair? And I said, well, I mean, I just want to do whatever to get an Xbox back, right? And they're like, okay, we'll do it. We'll do a repair. And I was like, all right, whatever. So they get the address correct. They put it in there. I go online after getting off the phone with them. I go online and look at my service. It has now gone from standard exchange, which is I send my machine back, they send me a new one, to same unit repair, which is I send my machine in.
They repair it?
They try and repair it as best they can. If they can, they'll send it back to me. If they can't, they'll send me a new one, which is what they were going to do anyway. But this process would take 3 to 4 weeks after they receive my console. 3 to 4 weeks for the system repair and to get it back to me. I thought, my God, this has just exploded into just horrible, horrible stuff.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It's horrible.
That's a hot mess.
And I'm like, man, I'm never going to play an Xbox One, am I? I'm never going to get to play this. I got Twisted Pixel I want to interview, but I haven't played their game, Local Cycle, to have them on the show. It's just gotten horrible. So I get an email that same day from Microsoft. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's like, hey, we're sorry for everything you've gone through. Would you like a free game? Pick from one of these listed games. We'll give you a free game. Apparently, they were doing this. I'll go through this in a minute. It was all first-party titles. I picked Rise. They'll send a download code. They will not send the disc game. They'll send you a download code to play.
You could have just kept your system because you wouldn't need the disc then.
Yeah, but I'll never be able to rent games, which is the problem.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Here's the thing, though. When they issued a press release about them giving these games to the customers, it was to people in their advanced exchange program because they were going to have to wait for their brand new Xbox to come in, so they wanted to give them a game to play since they couldn't play any disc titles until their new one came in so they could send their broken one back.
Yeah.
It specifically say people in the advanced exchange program. I am not in that program.
Maybe you really are all
I
this
got
time.
one anyway. More confusion as to what's going on. So, so there's that. Nick from Co-Optimus sends me a message on Tuesday and says, "Hey, have you tried contacting Microsoft PR? You're in media, that sort of thing. You should tell them what's going on, and you should tell them that you're talking about it." And I sent him an email.
Good call.
I wasn't mean. I just said, guys, I'm low on the totem pole of people you probably care about. I get that, but I got a problem with my system. I was told I should probably call you guys or check, get in touch with you guys and let you know what's going on. Honestly, I'm not looking for them to do anything special because I'd like to be looked at as this is what happens when anybody else goes through this situation.
Yeah.
I don't want Microsoft PR pulling this aside and saying, no, this guy's a special case. Do whatever he needs, sort of situation. I really don't want that. Don't want it to come to that. And so far, it hasn't. They sent me a response back and said, "What's your reference number? What's your service number? I'd like to flag this for our support guys." It's like, here's all the info. Here's the video. What's going on? Here's the front page post on COG I did about my situation so far and what I've gone through with support. Here's all that stuff. And I added, I'm not out to defame you guys or anything else. I'm not here to do that. I'm just giving my experience so people can see what I've gone through. Obviously, it's not going to be the same for everybody, especially not for those people that had that $500 held onto their account.
But chances are, if you're going through it, maybe someone else is too.
Very possibly. So they sent me a response back. I said, okay. They have not heard from them since. So I don't know what the situation is on that. However, this video will go up tonight. I took video of it today. I did what I've called the tough love technique, and maybe you've seen this.
From the chat room, I think I got a good idea what it is, though.
Yeah. So I did it this morning. I hooked it up, and I videotaped this so everybody can see that I went through the whole thing. I videotaped me hooking up the Xbox again and sticking the disc in, and it makes the noise. Take the disc out. I unplug the Xbox. I flip it over upside down. I find the Blu-ray drive where that's at, and I give it a good...
You did the thump?
Just big thump.
The good old-fashioned method.
Yeah.
Yeah, kick it.
Huge thump. And I flip it back over. I put in the disc, and it works. No problem.
Really?
Yeah. So I probably shouldn't have banged the board that hard. But yeah, so it works. Now it works. The thing is hooked up to my TV now. I've got my DirecTV box going into it now. I've got my AVR set to it. I got everything. Everything. When I say Xbox on, the TV switches on, my cable box switches on, my AVR switches on. It's all good to go. It works. It works.
For how long, though?
I know.
Are you still going to send it in?
See, yeah, right, dude. Saying that in the chat. Are you still going to send it? And I told James this, and he's like, "Have you looked around to see if that's just a temporary fix? I mean, does it break again?
Because that sounds like that heat gun trick for the PS4 for the yellow light of death when you reheat the solder on there, and that only lasted for mine for about 6-7 months, and it just went out again.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it's going to last.
Because if nothing else, then I guess you got a free copy of Rise?
They haven't sent it to me yet.
Oh, they haven't sent you the code?
They haven't sent me the code yet.
After listening to this radio, they might not.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, my next step now is to if I hear back from the PR guys, Microsoft, anybody from Microsoft, if I hear back from them, I will explain to them, because I've also got video of this. I will explain to them what I did. I will show them the video of what I did and how it fixed it, and ask them, what do you want me to do?
Okay.
More than likely, if PR is handling it, they'll want me to send it in. They'll want to just follow through with everything.
Watch the fine print say, banging it on the bottom voids the warranty.
Well, there's video proof of it now. At least it's not out there yet, but I mean, there's video proof of it. And again, I just kind of want to document everything that I've gone through with this. And
we'll fix it for a small fee.
Yeah, banging on the console is. I know it's one of those things, man.
Yeah.
What happens when your monitor's not working? You slap it around a little bit.
It.
And that's what my Xbox One did. $500 machine takes a couple of whacks to the bottom side, and it starts working again.
Send it off to bed without any supper. Whack it on the bottom side. Never mind.
Yeah, and so Nabokov is saying, you know what? They'll just flag it as they'll flag it as like, okay, this is nothing. Then they'll flag it as non-repair, stuff like that. You know what? I imagine they will, and we'll just see. We'll just see what happens from there. But the Xbox One is working
for now.
Yeah, for now. What are my thoughts on the graphics jump? Says, yeah, right, dude. I haven't played any games on the Xbox One. I got it set up before I had to come in to the station. I had LocoCycle. I'd gotten a free code for LocoCycle from the Twisted Pixel folks, and I put it in to download. So I haven't played that, and I don't really consider that next gen, to be honest with you, because it is releasing on the 360 as well. It's kind of an arcade title. I don't think it's got. I'm sure there are some significant improvements, but it's not like
taking the full potential.
Yeah, it's really not. I'm not seeing their flagship titles, which is Dead Rising 3, Forza, and Rise.
Yeah.
And there's some others in there, I'm sure as well. FIFA and I don't know about Zoo Tycoon, but whatever. Those were also on the offerings of free games that I could go with. But Forza, I'm not a sim racer. Somebody was asking me, why didn't I go Forza? I'm not a sim racer. And after listening to all the problems that they've had with microtransactions in that game, I don't want to go that way. Have you read anything about this?
There's not much on the disc, and it's all...
Well, there's not much on the disc to begin with, but car unlocks are extremely expensive. And you get like credits to spend after you do races and generally... Okay. But the thing is, it's very much like a free-to-play game on a tablet.
They're taking the Candy Crush approach.
I've never played that, so I don't know. I really don't.
A digital crack.
Yeah.
Not necessarily crack. It's just the fact that if you want the better cars, or if you want a good car, you can wait until you earn the money in the game to get that car.
Or grind for it.
Yeah, you can grind for it, and it takes a while to get there. Or you can put in some money to get some credits to buy them. So a $60 purchase for Forza 5 is going to turn into multiple times that.
Yes.
Not just...
Which is good for them, bad for us.
I guess it's great for them, but it's extremely bad for us. But yeah, and again, I'm not a sim racer, so I didn't jump into that. I really didn't. And I was like, well, I could go with Rise or Dead Rising 3. Matt was saying, I'd probably go Dead Rising 3. And I was like, yeah, the problem I have with Dead Rising... And I haven't played 3, so I can't associate it with that. Obviously, after AC4, I can, games need to be given a break every once in a while to see if they've done better than what they did before. The problems I had with Dead Rising 2 and Dead Rising, the first game, was that after a while, and not after a very long while, I just completely ignored the story. And it was just like, let me get a bunch of zombies on screen and then, mow through them.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a sandbox that had no point, that had no finality or goal to it, and I wasn't even interested in doing the story missions because it was just I'm in a mall. Let me grab something else to hit them over. Let me do it while I'm wearing this, or it just and that's good for about 30 to 45 minutes for me on the first time. Subsequent times, it dwindles from there.
Yeah, got a little monotonous overall.
Yeah, the return on investment just kind of dwindles to it goes from being 30 to 45 minutes to 25 to 30 minutes to 15 to 20, and then it's down to, oh, you haven't seen Dead Rising? Let me put it in. This is what you do for 5 minutes, and then let them enjoy it for a little bit, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they turn into for me, and I don't want to. I'm sure there's fans of it, and I'm sure there's people enjoying it, and that's great. But I've got it on a rental, so we'll see. We'll see if it is.
Yeah, it's probably just better for you to rent.
Yeah, and so I needed to pick one game, and I thought, well, I'll just go with Rise. I don't do FIFA.
Hopefully, Rise will be better because I know we saw it during the E3, like the video that they had out for that, and it looked like it was just quick time events one after another. So hopefully, actually playing it, you'll have a better way of like saying, nope, it's this, or
Yeah, Three Blades is saying that microtransactions aren't micro anymore; they're just plain old transactions.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of the Microsoft first-party titles have this in there. Dead Rising 3 has transactions.
Oh, really?
From what I've heard, you've only really heard the vocal people about Forza.
We got a price range on these transactions. We're ranging from like what?
I don't know. I'd have to
My
look
guess
them
would
up.
be like $1.
It varies. There's like if you want,
Like
hey,
this-
you get 1,000 coins for $10,
Mhm.
that sort of thing, or you can get 100,000 for $50.
Mm.
The range is different from there.
Okay.
But cars cost well into the, I don't know, the good ones cost really, they're high up there.
Well, I know they were doing that with the Mass Effect multiplayer back when James was playing it, where you could buy, like you could grind and get like the credits and get the better gear, or you
Mhm.
could go out and you could buy, the nicer gear. So I mean, they've been doing it last generation a little bit, but it seems like it's going to be more to the forefront in this one.
Yeah, SSX comes to mind because I was playing that on PS3. There was some transactions like that. Get credits for, it was a 10, 7, and $5, things like that. But then they had those races that people made. You made a lot more money that way. Just keep playing those races over again. You didn't have to worry about transactions anymore. But when you first started out and before people started making that, yeah, they did have those $10 transactions to get credits so you can get better equipment.
I don't remember that. I remember playing SSX, the most recent one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember playing that, but I don't remember about transactions. But
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if they're doing that like with like different games, like Batman? In order to get like the better grappling hook or something like that, you had a microtransaction.
well, so far, like I said, we've
Yeah.
seen it in almost every first title game that Microsoft has made, first party title that Microsoft has made. It's in, I believe, I don't know if it's in Rise, but it's in Dead Rising
You
3.
get a better sword.
It's in Forza. It's in Zoo Tycoon, I think, and I don't know if this is something that they're trying to push more with.
It's safe to say it probably is then if that's the case.
Yeah, if it's all in their first parties.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something that I've enjoyed about it. So, and not something I'm really looking forward to, if that's the case either.
If they're going to do something like that, then lower the price of the game. Like you said, it's tough paying $60 for a game and then still having to continue. I mean, I guess you don't have to.
Yeah,
you could
that's
just,
the same. You don't have
you
to.
could grind
Just
through
grind,
it, but
grind through it and get the stuff the hard way, the old-fashioned way. So
you
keep it
know,
that way.
but like during multiplayer, if like you're the one person that's not and everybody else has the better equipment because they are throwing down the money, then you're at a disadvantage.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know where that's going with it, but we'll see. It's gonna kind of be a drought from here until I think March, maybe. Second Son releases.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Maybe the Destiny beta might kickstart a little bit more for the console situation, but there seems like we've got a nice long lull of a lack of games to be released from here up until a good bit into the new year. So
It's time to catch that backlog if that's the case.
Definitely.
oh yes, it is, and Steam sales going on right now. Of course, I know you're not too much on the PC side of things.
No, but even I have Steam. I got like 6 games total.
And of course, Nabokov is always threatening to send you some parts.
Yeah.
You can build either a PC or a 360, which is out of the realm now. But yeah, Steam sales going up, and I've actually jumped into some stuff on that Steam sale. And we'll probably talk about that coming up next hour. Hopefully next hour, though, we're going to be talking with Evan Hahn, co-founder and senior software engineer for Snowed In Studios, and we're going to be talking about their game WindForge. It is on Kickstarter right now. It is WindForge. Go check it out. There's a trailer there, and support it as well, or just wait for the interview and see if you like it. And feel free to ask us some questions in the chat room. We'll pass it along to him live on the air. So that's coming up in the next hour of In-Game Chat. We will be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music there, I don't exactly know where that's from, but it was called Ladybug. So there's trivia for you, for everybody in the chat room.
Find the game.
Yeah, the title was called Ladybug.
Name that tune.
The game, I do not know. In fact, maybe our guest on the phone right now knows what that was from. Evan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man. How did you were you able to hear that music we played before we came to you?
I heard some music. I was kind of zoning out a little bit, but I didn't recognize it. So
That happens a lot with us. It's quite all right. Witcher 2 is, I think, what everybody is saying. It's from Witcher 2. But anyway, welcome to the show. This is Evan Hahn. He is co-founder and senior software engineer from Snowed In Studios. They are currently working on WindForge. So congratulations on WindForge.
Yeah, welcome, man.
great, thanks.
So could you try and tell us a bit about what WindForge is?
Yeah, sure. So it's a steampunk building block RPG with like flying airships and flying whales and things like that. So it's kind of like the quick way to describe it is it's a lot like Minecraft meets Contra.
Right.
You got a lot of that.
Yeah, I read that on the Kickstarter page. It's Contra and Minecraft melded together. But there's the first thing that came to my mind when I started playing it at PAX was Terraria.
Oh yeah. It probably has more similarities to Terraria. It's just not everybody knows Terraria, so it kind of some people just don't react when you say that.
Right. Well, I mean, the first thing you think about when you play Terraria is Minecraft, but in a 2D side scroller type thing.
Exactly. Sometimes I'm a bit reluctant to pitch it that way because it actually is a lot more than those two games just put together.
Mm-hmm.
It's just clear in everybody's minds when you say that what the gameplay is going to be sort of about.
Well, I mean, what is the gameplay like? I mean, what's the objective, or what do you do? What do you do in the game?
So, I mean, it's slightly different than maybe similar games because there's actually a storyline that kind of drives you through it. It's a sandbox RPG. So you're gonna have quests and a story to kind of give you direction and reasons to kind of harness your creativity in your building and things like that. You're always gonna have the freedom to do whatever you want, but it's always nice to have a direction and that kind of thing in a single player game. Yeah,
and it all takes place in the air, correct?
Yeah, it's a giant sky planet. We released a video recently describing the planet because it's pretty in depth, like the design we put into the thing. So the world's divided into 3 different layers of atmosphere, and there's different environments associated with every layer. And then there's smaller areas and stuff like that as well. There's like kind of predominant air currents. There's like fire coming up from the core of the world and raining back down at the top as meteor showers and so on. So it's a very elaborate, dynamic world. It's very it was really fun to design.
How long have you guys been working on this?
It's kind of been off and on for about 2 years, I think. It's a bit of a blur for me now because it's been so long. We've been kind of distracted with contract work, unfortunately, throughout the process to try to pay our bills, which is part of the reason why we're doing the whole Kickstarter thing to kind of break out of that pattern and get the game done as good as we can. Yeah,
is this your first game?
We've done a smaller mobile time, but this is our first like real game. This is definitely our passion project right now.
Yeah, you guys are on Steam Greenlight, correct?
Yeah, Steam Greenlight, and we're on Kickstarter right now too. We're in our final week for Kickstarter, so we're trying to do a big push and get as many people in on that as possible.
Yeah, how's the response been that you've seen?
So all the feedback we've gotten from the game has been really positive. There's a lot of people that are really excited about it. We need to get more eyeballs, more people looking at it, more people supporting, and so on too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, if you've got Steam, go to Greenlight and give it a thumbs up or whatever it is. Vote yes for it, whatever it is you do on Greenlight. But do that. But also
go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, go over to Kickstarter and really give this thing some support, especially if you like what you're seeing. And I know that it might be confusing as to what you're seeing, especially when the whales come into play. But
just the fact that you could say that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, because they're flying. flying whales that you can kill, and then you can mine them and like collect their carcass and then build walls out of their whale meat and all. It's really interesting. And there's a grappling hook involved, and any game that's got a grappling hook is always fun in my book. So definitely check that out. Some questions that we got from the chat room from Yeah Right Dude. He says, has their work on Deus Ex helped them with the development of this game?
They were very different games, and our work on Deus Ex is more on the like bug fixing sides and TRCs and stuff like that. And then, so as far as I know, it didn't help us that much actually.
None of it. They obviously they're completely different games, so I could understand where there may not be any kind of influence between the two. But still, I mean, you guys worked on Deus Ex, which is probably a really big thrill.
Yeah.
For what you guys.
I mean,
go ahead.
We got the title because we are like really experienced developers, though. So I think that helps. That helps for both of the games.
How did the concept of WindForge come about?
It was the guy that actually came up with the initial idea doesn't work for us anymore. But it was going to be basically he's pitching us Terraria in the sky with floating islands. And then so we kind of just took that idea and ran with it and tried to make it our own and make it unique. We weren't really interested in making just like a straight clone of anything, so we really wanted to kind of make our own thing here. So we added the airship stuff. We added we wanted to make it steampunk themed, and we kind of just kept on branching out from these themes.
And so, you know, setting it in the sky, that sort of thing, that was just, you know, on a whim. It's like, well, all these other games are based on the ground. Let's put ours in the air.
Well, he it kind of started out from a joke from him because he's like, oh, Terraria and Aquaria, so let's do Auraria.
Auraria.
But it actually, like, since we wanted to do building vehicles in 2D, putting in the sky planet makes a lot of sense. Because if it was a ground planet, basically everything interesting will be right and left. There's not a lot of whole interesting vertical space there.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's a sky planet and you're kind of between floating islands everywhere, it becomes a lot more interesting. So it does actually work with our gameplay a lot better.
Yeah, no, I got to play it at PAX, and I really liked what I played. And I was a bit upset with Alex for not bringing it to my attention sooner, since he knew me on Colony of Gamer. Like, dude. We talk about it. We talk about games every week on the show. We could have gotten regular updates about this thing, but apparently you guys really weren't ready to go massively public with this thing and let everybody know about it. But
yeah, we've always been kind of doing the open development thing, and we've had a blog since right from the beginning. But yeah, I mean, we haven't really been ready to, let's say, put a public demo out and that kind of thing.
Will there be a demo? Is there one available, or will there be one available?
Yeah, there will be one hopefully soon. So there's going to be a release fairly soon related to the Kickstarter, because there's an early thing. It won't be a finished game. It'll be just kind of the pre-release of it. So we still got a lot more work to do. But yeah, and then we should have more like a free version of a demo at some point as well. We just got to do a few things in the game to actually make that possible.
In the chat room, Nabokov fan asks, can I ask about the art style? Why go that route instead of pixel-based graphics? Was it something decided, or did the skills decide it? What went into the look of the game?
So we have two really good like 2D artists. So it was a lot easier for us to go for a 2D game instead of a 3D game. So we didn't have to hire new people.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt like there was a little bit too many like retro pixelated games. Like it's starting to get a little bit saturated there. And the artists were a lot more excited about just doing like just really higher res 2D graphics.
were the elements of the whales, was that something that was thrown in? I mean, how did that idea come about? Was that a late addition to it? Was it something that just somebody thought of some moment? Let me put a whale in here and see what it looks like. Or I mean, it's seriously, that's the
It
thing.
seems random.
That's the part that gets the most attention out of the trailer. Honestly, they
Yeah,
see a whale carcass being mined, and it's like, wait, I'm interested all of a sudden.
Yeah, that is like the reaction we got from PAX. So the whales, that was an evolution. Very early on, I wanted to have whales in the game. It kind of, I don't know, like, it was almost an unconscious decision. It was like a game with floating islands and flying airships, and then it was like, well, we have to have flying whales in there. I think it actually works well with the steampunk thing too, because it's flying whales seems to be a theme in steampunk literature.
Really?
So, yeah, there's a.
I've obviously not been reading a lot of steampunk literature.
No.
At least as far as I know, unfortunately I haven't read
well,
super.
I haven't read any of it.
To, like,
Yeah, I haven't read any of it, so that's cool.
yeah, there's a novel apparently Leviathan. There's a airship made out of built onto a flying whale that flies around and something like that. The pictures are really awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to read the book yet.
The last game I saw that utilized whales in any sense was Dishonored.
Yeah, they have a whale oil thing going on that one too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Dude says, did you guys have any ideas that were too ambitious and had to be put aside when you guys started developing the game?
We have enough ideas probably for like 3 more games. There's so many really good ideas to put in the game, and also when you're making a game like this where it's just like a big open world and things like that, you can keep on adding things on. The feature creep gets a little bit crazy. The game's already really ambitious as it is. As far as like particular features go, yeah, I mean, I had I experimented with some things, kind of like some like Max Payne style diving with it at one point.
Yeah.
That would have been a bit crazy. It was just complicated with the physics and the gameplay to kind of get it all together, and it wasn't really necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Various things with the ships, like the ship building, actually got less complicated as we went because it just turned out to be too much micromanagement. We cut multiplayer fairly on because we wanted to do we wanted to do single player, but then we realized we wouldn't be able to do both. We wouldn't be able to do both well, so we ended up cutting the multiplayer.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Is that something that you can maybe work on for like a DLC or a patch?
I would really like to do it. It's a pretty significant effort for us to add on, but there is a lot of demand for it. A lot of people really want multiplayer. Even I want multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, was it a competitive thing or was it just a co-op type situation?
I would prefer to do co-op if I had to pick one. I'd prefer to do co-op.
Right. I mean, if you're sticking with the Contra and Minecraft situation, both of those involved
Very co-op-y.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in Minecraft, we can have your own server and have tons of people in your world. Which I'm guessing is this the same way? Completely randomly generated worlds?
It's almost entirely procedural. There are a few places where we cheat, like the towns right now are mostly hand built. So we tend to kind of do hybrids in those cases where we generate something and then keep building on top of it with things to make sense. So every time we come to something that's we just can't make work procedurally, or it would take too long to do procedurally, we just do it by hand. So it's a bit of a hybrid there, kind of like like Diablo 2 or something like that, where mostly procedural, but the towns will be always the same.
Now, should the Kickstarter make it, what is your projection on when you guys will have the game released?
Hopefully, the final thing will be in March.
And it'll be, I guess, Steam. Will it be Steam released, and then will you be on any other kind of digital distribution platforms?
Yeah, we're on Greenlight now, so we're hoping to be on Steam by then. And we've talked with Good Old Games Distributor. They seem interested, but we haven't actually officially signed anything with anybody yet.
Yeah, I was going to say the other one, the new one, really is the Humble Store guys.
Oh yeah, we actually we were contacted by them, so we might do something with them as well.
Oh, they reached out to you. That's nice. That's always good when they reach out to you and you don't have to go scrounging for them. Now, of course, the big question here is if you guys miss the Kickstarter goal, what's going to happen?
So, I mean, if we miss it, we're still going to do our best to make the best game possible. It will, like, that money will definitely help. So hopefully we won't have to delay the game more to do contract work and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we're still going to try our best to make the best game possible. This game is our baby. We will do whatever we can to kind of make it happen.
Yeah, to make sure it gets the release.
How many people are working on the game?
Currently, I got to kind of count in my head here. It's 3 programmers and 2 artists right now. It kind of fluctuates.
5?
depending on what
You got
resources
5
we've got
people?
Sorry, what's that?
5 people working on the game?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
I tell you, every
Wow,
time we talk to
impressive.
these small studios, the number
Yeah.
just gets lower and lower. Yeah, I
We
know.
we have 15 people right now, but they're all working on other stuff.
okay.
What do you can you mention anything that they're working on?
Trying to think. we are wrapping up still some stuff with the DXX Director's Cut.
Oh yeah. Really? Even though the game's released.
Yeah, I think there's a few kind of odds and ends and bugs that we're still trying to work out.
Yeah, I bought that when it came out.
Sorry, what's that?
I bought that when it came out.
Oh, awesome.
I've been actually playing that, enjoying it.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so 5 people really putting the effort into this, with the rest of the team kind of working on that contract stuff. I guess to bring in more money for WindForge itself. Any chance for any kind of DLC? What are you looking at for the future of this thing once it gets released?
Yeah, I would really like to keep on working on this game. Like I said, we have enough ideas for probably like 3 more games. So, but we have definitely a lot more content and things we want to throw in there. So if the game is popular enough and we think we can support ourselves with the DLC, then I'm pretty sure we'll end up doing it.
Now you mentioned you had ideas for like 3 more games. Are you talking about 3 more games set in this universe, or there's 3 completely different games?
Oh, sorry, yeah, like 3, like, I may be exaggerating. Like, we have a lot of ideas. But, yeah, like, all for WindForge, we have a lot of cool things that we want to throw in WindForge. Because it's an entire world, and there's so much more we can do with this world and with the story and the universe that we got here.
Can you tell us one of those things that you really want to put in the game, but you can't until it gets the money there, or until it gets released and you guys have time to work on that DLC aspect? Can you give us an idea of one thing? I mention this because, you put that one thing in there, somebody might hear it and say, I want that, so I want to go support their game, type of thing. Can you give us any info on that?
So, so we had some more elaborate creatures and stuff like that we wanted to get in the game at some point. Like, one of my favorites was we wanted to have giant turtle islands in the game. So these would be basically floating islands with turtles like inhabiting as a shell, and you'd be able to build houses and other things on the island as it's floating around, and drill in them and stuff like that as they're floating around as well. So I think those would be a lot of fun. Different types of environments. We had these kind of like crazy burrowed worm things that would jump out at your ships and so on. And then there's more that I want to do with the story as well, and I'm really interested in kind of like procedural stories. So I want to have more like kind of those chance encounters and things like that. I think would be kind of work really well with this type of game.
What you mentioned the story. What is the story? What is the story of WindForge?
So, I don't want to give away the plot, but it starts out. So you've been kind of secretly hired by people to research this ancient technology for a new energy source. So basically, right now in the world, the predominant energy source is whale oil, but it's so popular and so overused that whales are becoming extinct. So the world's kind of on the verge of a crisis where they could end up falling back in the dark ages unless they find an alternative. So the best bet right now is to research this ancient technology, but unfortunately it's taboo and against the law to research it. So that's why I've been hired by in secret. And it basically, the story progresses from there. So you'll research, you'll uncover things, and then more and more conflict will brew, and then it kind of goes off from there.
Well, I wish you and Alex and everybody over at Snowden Studios the best of luck with this. Again, guys, it is on Kickstarter. They need the support. It's in the last week. They got a good bit of ways to go, but I've seen Kickstarters pull it out from even this little bit, man. So I really hope it works out for you. Has there been, outside of this topic of the Kickstarter and WindForge itself, have you been able to play any games just, yourself recently? Like, have you been able to just kind of take a break and play a game? And if you have, what have you played? What have you been playing recently?
So unfortunately, I haven't really been able to play anything in depth because basically all my personal time kind of right now is going to WindForge. So the kind of games that I kind of take a break from are kind of more games like Super Hexagon or Spelunky or Street Fighter. And then when I'm playing with other people, we kind of go back to old Super Nintendo games quite a lot too. So the old Marios and stuff like that.
Of course. Good old Mario Kart. One more question from the chat room. Novakov says, if it does not work, would you guys consider tweaking the Kickstarter and giving it a second shot, trying to get the word out and behind scenes stuff like that?
Possibly. It's unfortunate. Like, we've kind of been just focusing on the current one, so we haven't really even considered if we would do another one for WindForge. It's actually quite distracting to do a Kickstarter campaign and also try to get the game done at the same time. But yeah, I'm not against the idea. I'll have to actually talk to people and see.
Yeah. Well, again, I wish you guys at the studio best of luck on this, and I really, really hope it happens. I loved what I saw at PAX, and obviously it can only get better from there. I got a T-shirt out of it. It can't fit me, so maybe we'll give it away on the show. But I do appreciate that, man. Anyway, Evan, thank you so much for your time tonight. I do appreciate it. And if you guys want to check it out, it's at Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.com and type in WindForge. Go to Steam Greenlight. Look for it there. It is all over the place. There's a thread on COG about it. So check it out, support it, and really hope we'll be playing your game in March rather than later. But we do hope to be playing your game one way or another. So thanks for all the work you put into it, man.
Thank you, Evan.
Great, thanks a lot.
All right. When we come back, we will have more of in-game chat, and we will be wrapping it up with our final segment of the show. We will be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. All the music I think that you've heard this episode has come from our friend Gershnordt.
Thank you.
I love his name, Gershnordt. Yes. One of my favorites. Anyway, he's been saying that was from Sword and Sorcery. If you were curious as to what that was, some people in the chat room who may not have noticed or may have just caught on to us recently from any of the interviews we've done, or just happen to be browsing through Twitch and see a bunch of guys in a room talking, wondering what game is this, or what are they doing? Yeah. Obviously, we're not the PlayStation 4 the Playroom situation that happened there. I don't know if you read anything about that, but you could stream using the Playroom game.
Yes,
which is essentially does what we're doing here, which is just turns the PlayStation 4 camera into just a webcam. And it broadcasts your living room rather than the game you're playing, even though you are playing somewhat of a game. And they were using that to, just basically sit around and talk about games and stuff, or talk about anything, really. And it didn't even have to be games.
Yeah.
And that was good for a while. But as we know, when the internet gets its hands on anything that is good,
It took all about 3 seconds.
they will turn it into something horrible.
Yes.
And there were things being done on that game, with that game through Twitch.
You assumed people would use common sense on that thing, didn't you?
No.
Soon people have common sense to use. But no, when you get, there's this great thing that I can't actually say the name of it, but it's John Gabriel's greater internet blank wad theory. When you add an audience plus anonymity, even though there is no anonymity when a webcam's on you, it's still somewhat.
Yeah.
You still feel like you're hiding behind. You're behind a wall.
People get brave when it's anonymous.
Yeah,
basically.
but it's not necessarily anonymous. They can still see you, but they can't really get any info on you. But that still feels like a barrier for, I guess, for these people to just we'll do what we want. We're on a camera. We're just whatever. So, Rule 34. That's
Yep.
there's
There you
that
go.
too.
Yeah.
That says it all.
So anyway, they just started doing things that were completely inappropriate, and Twitch started banning these, but now they've just decided to ban the
The
Playroom,
playroom altogether, yeah.
Just like, no, we're not going to air the Playroom. Then they started cracking down on streams that weren't about gaming. I know that we had gotten a tweet earlier in the week from Gersnort, and he asks, where is it? I have to go through all my Xbox support tweets. He says, with the recent nudity kerfuffles on Twitch, what does the crackdown on non-gaming streams portend for gaming talk shows like yours? I would have said this before Twitch made a statement about it, but I don't think we have anything to worry about. Number one, we're on the radio, so we're monitored by the FCC to not really do anything
Terrible.
horrible and terrible, and especially audibly with that situation. But we're also at the place that I work, so we're not going to do anything visually horrible either in front of the cam. So we're okay on that end for us not making those choices. Now, the choice that Twitch makes is whether our show is about gaming or not. That's up to them. Obviously, it is. Our name is up there in game chat. We've got people listening, and we're talking about games. If they tune in anytime, we're going to be talking about games or the news of the week for gaming and that sort of thing.
That's
so
kind of what we do.
exactly. So I really don't think there's any problem with us. I don't think that they would have any problem with it. They can look back at our past episodes. We not just the episodes of this show, but the game streaming that we do. I do Silver Ball Sundays every other Sunday, which I've got another one this week if somebody wants to give me a table suggestion. And I've streamed PS4 games before. They don't archive, so you can't go back to those. But yeah, it's been all about gaming. So I don't think we're going to have any kind of. I don't think we're going to see any kind of issue with Twitch on this situation here. So, but I appreciate the concern. Anyway, so if you're new to the show, we are in game chat. We have been doing this since 2007.
February.
Right.
of
We
07.
started in February of 07. I believe it was Groundhog Day. It was our first day on the air, February 2nd of 2007. If you go back, I believe that falls on a Friday. I believe. If you go back to February, somebody in the chat room is going to do that. And that's fine. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah. So, and we did it right here from the radio station. And we've been doing it pretty much ever since then. There were a few years where we didn't do one every week. We just did one here, one there. There were a few years where we had
Couple times a week.
3.5 hour episodes.
Yeah.
There were some times when we did 3 shows a week, just because the rush of games and gaming news was coming in, that we could do 3 shows a week, 3 2-hour shows a week. It's amazing. I look at that now and I'm like, how did we ever get away with that?
Yeah.
How did we do that? But there was a lot of stuff to talk about there, and so it's all there. So if you go to ingamechat.net, you can see our archives. It goes way back. It goes all the way back. I don't think it's got our first episode.
I think that one's lost to the ages.
Yeah. I don't think it has our very first episode when we didn't even have a name. But yeah, it goes back to our very early beginnings. So Anyway, so if you've just joined us or just started listening to us, welcome. We hope that we will keep you listening and stay with us. And
Definitely get in the chat room, send us tweets, emails.
yeah, check us out on Colony of Gamers, and also our Steam group that we have. You can join us over there and chat with us and stuff. Speaking of Steam, they've got a sale going on. It's their autumn sale. And this is going on through December 2nd.
Have you picked up anything yet?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I picked up a lot.
Really?
I'm trying to remember what I picked up.
While you're thinking about it, I'm running into, I think, sort of Steam saturation when it comes to sales, that I'm going through this and like either I've already bought it or it's not something that I want.
Well, it's interesting because there was an email that supposedly leaked. It was an email from Steam to a developer or a publisher, one of the others, and it was talking to them about, hey, our sales are coming up. You need to send in what you want your discount to be, and then what you want your discount to be if it's chosen for a flash deal, a daily deal, or whatever. When they get discounted even more for a certain amount of time, and it stated that the autumn sale starts in exactly when it did, November 23rd through, was it the 23rd? Started Wednesday.
Yeah.
Not the 23rd, 27th. So it started the 27th through December 2nd, and then our holiday sale starts, and it gave the dates on that one too. I'll have to go back and look. The interesting thing to note was that the sale prices on games that you see now will not change for the sale prices that you see those games on should they show up in the winter sale, in the end of the year sale.
Okay.
The prices won't change. So it's not like if you see it for sale right now for a daily deal for 75% off, you're like, I really hope that goes lower. Well, it's not going to go lower before the end of the year.
But that does mean if you missed it, then you have a second chance.
Sort of.
Sort
Not
of.
always.
Okay.
If it's up now, it's best to probably pick it up if you want it. There's some of your bigger titles like Saints Row 4 and Witcher 2 seem to always pop up. Witcher titles seem to always pop up. But some of the ones that don't always pop up are like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. It did pop up in this one, but it'd been a while since I'd ever seen it for sale. But there's a few titles that sometimes just won't make it into the sale. So if you can get it now, it's best to do it if it's at a price range that you want. And it's also a thought of, is this something I'm going to play in between now and the next time this may go on sale? It's always a thing to look at. I was looking into picking up some DLC for Borderlands 2 today because it's a flash sale. I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
That's great, but I'm not going to play. There's no way I'm going to be playing this between now and maybe December when it goes on sale, or even next summer when it goes on sale for even less. There's the likelihood that I'm going to pick this up and play it is very small for me to do that. So, but that doesn't explain all the other stuff I bought. I picked up Euro Truck Simulator for $6. Why? I don't know.
Why not?
'Cause it
Yeah.
was $6.
I picked up Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm kind of looking at. Although I have it on, I still have the old disc from my PS1, but I also have it on the PS Network. So it's on my like PSP as well.
I picked up Outlast, Game Dev Tycoon. These are games I'm not going to play. I mean, maybe I'll fire them up. I don't know. But for the most part, what I'm really waiting on is I'm hoping the Batman Arkham Origins DLC drops in price. Right now...
Oh yeah, that I wouldn't mind getting.
Well, see, right now it's on sale. The game is on sale for a certain percentage. And so the DLC is cut in half to like from $20 to $15. But if it hits a daily deal, it might go to 10 or 12. If Arkham Origins hits a daily deal or a flash deal or something like that, it might go lower. And that's really kind of the dice that you're rolling. It's like, but it might be lower. It might just go lower. And so, it's one of those things to kind of wait for. Nabokov says, Game Dev Tycoon, try it out, then come back next week to talk about how much it sucks to make a game. Man, that's a lot of work. Dude, I know how much it sucks to make a game. I mean, I don't actually make a game.
You don't need a game to tell you that?
I've talked to people who make games, and I rarely get to talk to them because of how much it takes to make a game that they hardly have time to talk. And then when you talk to them about the process of making a game, it's downright heartbreaking to hear the stuff that they have to go through. And, you know, if we have Twisted Pixel on next week, they're going to be a prime example of this.
If you look at the credits of a game after you beat it, there's almost always someone talking about thanks to my family for putting up with the long hours and times. And
Yeah.
days
It's
I've
the
been
reason they
gone
have a
from
section of
home,
babies that were born during the process
Yeah.
of making
Something
the
like that, yeah.
game. But yeah, you know, it's always one of these things. I mean, obviously, game reviewers and critics and stuff have to evaluate things that are done. But when they rip into some games, and you think about developers who read these people ripping into the hard work that they put into over the past few years, and and I know how much time they put into it. I can. It's a lot like for us, not on the same scale. Like the effort we go through to get this. I mean, seriously, 5 minutes before the show, we didn't have a stream.
We're working on things.
We were trying to get everything up.
You got a temperamental laptop over
But
here.
yeah, but you get it working and everything, and then somebody comes in and says, "What is this crap? I don't want to listen to this or
Yeah,
see
you
this.
guys are
This shouldn't
terrible."
be on. This is horrible. Go away." And that's fine. You know what? Everybody has a right to their opinion and that sort of thing. But I'd love to know what I could do to make them enjoy it better. You know,
Yeah.
What is it that you like? What is it that we could do that would change your mind on this? And of course, obviously, they probably say play some games rather than talk about them. But yeah, when they go through the years and years of work they put into it, only to come out with a 3 for a score, and just laud it as like the worst game that somebody has ever played. I'm really curious how that affects them, and that's one of the things I kind of want to ask Twisted Pixel about if we have them on next week. Lococycle got panned. It got horrible reviews.
Really?
It got bad reviews. It is their worst reviewed game that they have done. But it's also their most ambitious game that they have ever done.
Maybe they're just shooting too far for the moon.
I don't know, but I'm very curious to talk to them next week and ask them about that and what it's like to kind of go through that and you know, listen to that feedback and, you know, what do you do? How do you pick up the pieces and move on? How do you handle that sort of thing? I'm very curious as to seeing how this is. And I understand it's a system. This is just a cycle. It happens, you know. Game releases, game gets reviewed, they start making another game. And then they go through that cycle all over again. So I can understand how that is. But Game Dev Tycoon is a game on Steam that takes you through the process of making a game. You don't actually have to do the coding or anything, but it's how you manage your resources and finances and how you build a beta and do a release and get feedback. All this sort of stuff goes into it, and you know, it's one of the things that I'm very interested in. It's the reason I picked it up, but it's the reason I picked it up on sale. Again, it's hard to pass up on a sale. Let's see. Calgar99, curious, are you guys sticking discs for the next gen?
Probably sticking to discs.
Sticking to discs for the next gen console or digital. Calgar, if we had the money, we would go digital. We would buy all our games. Everybody would get to play them, so everybody could talk about them. But we don't have that. We don't have the pull with publishers, and we don't have the money to pay for them. So we need the rentals.
That and just having to upgrade the hard drive space for all the games that we want.
Oh, whatever. You can delete those and then reinstall if you need to. Chances are, I very rare that I go back to a game after I played it. You know, Batman Arkham Origins is one that's sitting there right now. Obviously, some DLC. Look, BioShock Infinite. I got the DLC. I got the Buried at Sea DLC, but I haven't played it.
Okay.
I got it, but I haven't even played it.
I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, I reinstalled the game, but I haven't even gone back to play it. But it's one of those things that, when I'm done with it, I'll take it out until they release the second part, and then I'll reload it and go again. So I'm not so worried about the space. It's just a sense that we need the rentals for what we do, so that everybody gets a chance to play them and can afford to play them. So, we're kind of thankful that they didn't do away with that situation. We were hoping that if they did go that whole diskless system, that they'd have some way of doing a rental system online, which can be done. You do it now with demos where you can only play so far.
Mm-hmm.
But some kind of rental system or I think On Live has a system where, You pay ever how much a month, and you get access to all these titles. And I think GameFly does it too.
Mm-hmm.
Your subscription to GameFly gets you access to all these titles that you can play. But if you lose that subscription, you can't play them anymore. That sort of thing. So
Right.
there's ways to go about it, and we kind of hoped that would be the way that it would go. Should it go that way? But they decided to do it. Unfortunately, the only way we can get our games right now is through GameFly. Redbox in this area still has not started stocking the next gen games.
And Blockbuster's gone.
There is no Blockbuster anymore.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting, there's not. I mean, for the Xbox One, there's a lot more for the Xbox One than there is for the PS4 that I'm interested in trying. PS4 had a lot of multiplats. PS4 had a lot of multiplats that are on PC.
Yeah.
Even one of their free games, Contrast, is also on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Resogun would have been one I really wanted to try, and of course I have. But everything else could have been played on PC or the Xbox One or somewhere else. So there weren't a lot of first-party titles, whereas Microsoft has 3 to 4 out of the gate that I can only play on their system. Forza, Loco Cycle's another one, Rise, Dead Rising 3. I want to say there was another. No, I think that's it. Killer Instinct. That's the other one. Killer Instinct. So they had a lot there that I really wanted to play, and I was kind of worried I wasn't going to be able to play them. But now that my Xbox works, I will. And I really have to. You know what? I have to come back around on the Xbox. I had only had a limited time when we did our show last week.
Yeah.
I'd had a very limited time with it before I was like, oh God, it's broken. Let me start the process of getting this thing fixed. I didn't get to really dive into it and make it do what it's supposed to do. Like I said, when it worked today, I hooked the TV back up into it. I got it working with my AVR console that operates all my stuff. And the TV itself, it was able to determine my TV and could send signals to it. It was able to determine my AVR and could send signals to it. And my cable box, which is a DirecTV box, it was able to send signals to it. So I was able to pair all that together so that when I say Xbox on, all that stuff comes on. And when I say Xbox off, all that stuff gets turned off. When I say volume up, Xbox volume up, it turns the volume up. When I say down, it switch channel, skip, forward, blah, 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 all this stuff. It really works.
That's pretty cool.
I hate to kind of lean on that gimmick to say that it's really kind of cool to do. It seriously, to vocally turn on all of my stuff with that one phrase is really kind of cool.
Well, I mean, like I tried that with the PlayStation camera. I'm like, PlayStation on, and it just didn't do anything. I was like, oh man.
You can't turn it on by saying PlayStation on?
It didn't do it for me.
Was it in sleep mode?
It's in sleep mode, yeah.
I thought you could, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've actually turned it on using my voice.
Maybe I'm just trying it, differently, because, it didn't do anything.
I'll try it when I go home tonight, but it may not. Nabokov says, how's the Kinect been treating you? So far, fine. I haven't found a game that I can use it with. So, it's whatever. I mean, if the Kinect is there to listen to me, it does a fantastic job. But so far, I haven't used a game where it's looking at me to make any gestures or any movements like that. I haven't really played a game on it at all.
Do you have multiple profiles?
No.
Okay.
Which is another reason that it's not really going to come into play for me.
Because I was wondering, if you did have, multiple profiles for other people, like when they walked in, if it, recognize the face, that whole feature.
Yeah, it's that feature would be cool, but I am not going to run into that situation where I'm going to have multiple profiles on the console itself. So, do you need to have USB power selected for the camera? Cavalier's asking this. The camera if you're talking about the PlayStation camera, it's not
auxiliary.
It's an auxiliary port. It is not USB. So it's their own little thing that I hope they make an extension cord for. Because again, like I said, I sit 13 feet away from my TV. Both the Kinect barely recognizes me. In fact, I will say this: if the hand gestures are still in the Kinect, where you wave your hand to get it to notice you, it does not notice me waving my hand. But I don't know if that's still in there or if it's all just done. You can do it vocally now. You know?
Meanwhile, Scott's just waving at his TV.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So, who knows? Maybe I'll try it a little bit more tonight. Get up a little bit closer to it and wave and see what happens. So, anyway, what else? RJ, have you played anything since we last talked to you?
Last thing I did was Galaga DX Legions, that updated version of the game. I tried that a little bit.
How was it?
Very graphic intense. I mean, bugs everywhere. I mean, this is not your.
It was
classic,
the Pac-Man Championship edition to
Galaga.
Galaga, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, just bugs everywhere. You can hit certain targets. Rearrange your ship to shoot three-way or straight ahead. On the fly switching and everything like that. Gets pretty intense after a while. I was having a good time with that one lately.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that's on the horizon for you that you're looking forward to?
On
You got
the
any
horizon?
tournaments coming up?
No, I haven't seen any tournaments lately. Right now, the only one I'm looking forward to is Final Round, but that's in March.
What is that? Boxing?
Final round? No, Final Round is
Fight?
just a tournament. It's a tournament in Atlanta.
I thought it was a game.
No.
Final Round. Although it sounds like it should be.
Yeah, it
though.
sounds like
Final
a
Round.
There was a Konami game years back. The Final Round. That was a boxing title. Early 90s, the 80s, I guess. I'm old. But no, Final Round is a tournament held in Atlanta every year. I think this is number 17. Yeah. Just a big fighting game tournament held in the South that I went to last year. Had a good time there, so I wanted to go back. Some of the major players, Justin Wong,
Oh,
Ricky
wow.
Ortiz
Really?
was there.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of folks out there, especially Street Fighter. It gets really,
Yeah, I was gonna
really
say
good.
that
watching
that's
that.
impressive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's one I wanted to go through. But other than that, that's all I've been doing video game wise.
Calgar wants to know if he could get some first impressions of Killer Instinct if I would be willing to share. And of course, I would be willing to share, but are you even willing to play? It's look.
I can just
I'm not
look
even
at
talking
watch it.
console loyalty. I just know that your hands are familiar with not an Xbox controller.
Right. Well, it is true. I mean, usually I play that with the stick, but I haven't. You said you gave it a shot, right? Or just played it for about 5 minutes. And
Yeah,
something
I went
else.
into a little
It's
practice.
just not your. It's just not your.
Yeah,
It's just not your thing.
Not a fighting guy, man.
Someone said it played like Street Fighter 4.
And you only get one character, and that's
Yeah.
all I'm willing to pay for.
Yeah.
So even if you come over, if you want to donate some money to the have RJ play Killer Instinct
cause.
fund, I'll buy some more characters for you. But otherwise, you got the one.
Yeah, Jago, isn't it?
I don't know. I think
I think
I play. It was him, and then you could pick anybody else, and I went with Iceman.
Glacius.
Yeah, whatever. That guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's like he's my Killer Instinct equivalent of Sub-Zero, and I always pick Sub-Zero
Yeah.
when I played Mortal Kombat. So,
Ice dudes.
but yeah, if you're ever willing to, you can come over and play Killer Instinct.
Well, we'll see.
You can come over and say Xbox on and watch everything turn on all at once.
Marvel.
And then you can say Xbox go to Killer Instinct, and it'll go to Killer Instinct. It's fun voice controls. I'm sure this feeling will wear off shortly. I won't care anymore.
Yeah.
But right now, it's kind of cool.
Okay.
So,
Real convenient for you.
as for me, I'm just going to be playing some more Assassin's Creed. Going to get into Loco Cycle. Like I said, we'll try and have the Twitch Pixel guys on. If not next week, the week after next or something. But we'll have them on soon. But what about you, Matt? Where are you going?
More GTA 5. I also got the Zelda game for the 3DS.
Link Between Worlds?
Yes.
Wow.
I like it.
James is considering picking that up. Actually, he
It's
almost
worth
bought the 3DS
Man.
the 3DS XL.
Yeah,
for
get the bundle. It's pretty. It reminds me so much of why everything I loved about Link to the Past. It definitely worth it.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for us, folks. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody listening in on the stream, as well as on the radio as well. We thank you. Thanks to everybody who grabs us every week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at coloniagamers.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're on Steam, we've got a Steam group you can join up with over there and play games with us and other listeners. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next Saturday.